Los tepehuanos cuentan la leyenda de que hubo un diluvio. Los únicos que se salvaron fueron los que alcanzaron la punta del Cerro Gordo. De modo que desde ese lugar, la vida humana en el mundo volvió a comenzar.
Para na project maut na chulo banechar na chatan y favor na dot que es que llueva bien. Que mo voy que bahemea sin aire y tua duk que no venga.
Only by being as a jaguar, patient and tenacious, can you really be a home and a refuge and a habitat. A safe place to live.
Y'all ready?
You're gonna be choosing.
Hey yo, jaguar up the mountaintop, travel deep within my thoughts, secluded from polluted and ruined miserable unions, surrounded by greenery, clearing my energy, aligning with the galaxy, connecting with the higher me. Networking with the chosen few who share my view, to connect like the woo and let the knowledge shine through. Uniting the tribe, uplifting the vibe, not driven by pride or just choosing one side. Shit, I'm analytical, semi-political, 100% spiritual that sees beyond the visual, well-rounded individual, bringing you lyricals that resemble Christ's miracles, prophetic syllables that nourish you like minerals. My rhyming is like vitamins, guiding them in time of sin, reminding them what's within and how we're all kin. Related through the hatred that's man-made and not sacred. The connection that they breaking got Pachamama earthquaking. The same mistakes we're making, it's the same mistakes the past has taken, except for those that have awakened and calculate each move they're making. Audacious and tenacious, Turtle Island's much too spacious for us to divide her graces. Tears fall down our ancestors' faces as we bicker over places that was meant for all relations. To be living in unison, but you deny them from moving in. Free to travel all across the planet, not one territory control me, my wings expanding. Free from all colonial static, no tribal ID defines me or my status. Indigenous shamanic Vedic, led by ancestral ways and divine mathematics. Not self-proclaimed chiefs, social media addicts, trying to divide the tribe just to feed their own madness. Free to travel all across the planet, not one territory control me, my wings expanding. Free from all colonial static, no tribal ID defines me or my status. Indigenous shamanic Vedic, led by ancestral ways and divine mathematics. Not self-proclaimed chiefs, social media addicts, trying to divide the tribe just to feed their own madness. Yeah, so if you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at the ancestors, They the ones that control the pen. They the ones that guide me from within. I'm just speaking for them.
This Kalipoka, if you can zoom in again on it, you can see that his eyes are like got a little bandage on his eyes.
Sub one.
That's called Ishkimili. Ishkimili means the potential to see.
Yeah. Ishkimili, I can see without my eyes to what's really hidden dormant deep inside. Pick up frequencies and vibes as I frequently transcribe what the ancestors provide. Hidden temples that reside in my DNA, not made in USA. Tepehuano de Durango, ask around, homie, I don't play. Humble yet protective, do for surplus the collective. I won't be disrespected or socially misdirected by comments and opinion made by entitled natives and their minions, claiming full dominion over land meant for our children. Influencers influence the influential and campaign to cancel the intellectual with conventional European doctrine that's not ancestral. Worldwide spectacle, marriage of the skeptical, the pain perpetual that's never ending. But like the weed, I'm never breaking from all the bending. The message condescending. They picking and they choosing, that's why we losing, mentally abusing and spiritually bruising. Our lines displaced, a so-called imaginary place where the ancestors pace back and forth. But from the bottom of the south to the tip of the north, Turtle Island is my court, and freeing my indigenous people is my sport. And I don't need no motherfucking passport. Free to travel all across the planet, not one territory control me, my wings expanding. Free from all colonial static. No tribal ID defines me or my status. Indigenous shamanic Vedic, led by ancestral ways and divine mathematics. Not self-proclaimed chiefs, social media addicts, trying to divide the tribe just to feed their own madness. Free to travel all across the planet, not one territory control me, my wings expanded. Free from all colonial static, no tribal ID defines me or my status. Indigenous shamanic Vedic, led by ancestral ways and divine mathematics. Not self-proclaimed chiefs, social media addicts, trying to divide the tribe just to feed their own madness.
Fueron los que alcanzaron la punta del Cerro Gordo.
Wow, that was a good song right there.
Sub One came with it again.
So, guys, that was Sub One's new track.
Feeling that
He's
track.
a great supporter of the podcast. We are a big
Sub
supporter
One,
of his
shout
music.
out. Go listen to that song 100 times.
So,
It's dope. I liked it.
when did you meet Sub One?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't remember. Damn, I don't know. I don't remember.
Just seems like he's family, right? Just
Yeah.
with the whole
I
movement,
thought he was down from day one, I guess.
right?
I mean, this fucking dude's lyrics are fucking amazing. They're dope. I love his early 90s Wu-Tang style, like, but not, those are things that I'm like kind of comparing it to, but he has his own thing.
Oh,
He has his
absolutely.
own sound. He has his own lyricism. He has his own patterns and what they call cadence. So, I mean, that new track is fire. I love it.
So sorry about earlier. We had some technical difficulties with the camera, but it seems like Sub One's track was so hot, he glitched our software.
There
So
you go.
we just had to go do a quick little reset on this camera, on the Mevo that we're using since day one. This is actually our second Mevo. The first one burned down on us. So yeah, welcome, Las Aslan Natives Podcast.
Welcome, my community. Sorry for being a little late as well. Just know that, there's a lot of effort being put into doing this podcast. We do it from the heart. There is no revenue from this. This is straight medicine, like will. Like I'm cleaning tables 10 minutes before I get here. But that's how much I love my community. That's how much I really appreciate them going to the store and partaking in Malinali Superfoods intention in the community of East Los Angeles. So, but nothing's going to stop me from doing this podcast. I love doing this podcast. I love the community that comes to listen to this podcast because you guys let me know how this podcast is important to you. So if it's important to you, then it's massively important to me. And that's what I want to tell them.
Absolutely. We have a show next Sunday. I believe is it IPR Arts?
Yes. Shout out Rick. By Callejero, Viaje Callejero. I think it's about Viaje Callejero.
Warlock One. We got Sub One, and of course Zero of El Vuh is headlining. So for anyone that wants to partake in the event, the flyer is on our Instagram. I just posted it not too long ago.
I'm gonna play my new single, Global Pandemic, Mask Required. I almost felt like that song was just gonna go by the wayside and it's not gonna be relevant anymore, but it's more relevant now than ever.
So, I really want to dig in a little deeper on Indigenous Peoples Day,
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
Me as a student in the game, I understand that it's a very important day for the Indigenous community.
Yeah, because it's the day that they turned Columbus Day into recognizing Indigenous people, right? But the system has a hard time recognizing Indigenous people, and it'll always have a hard time recognizing Indigenous people because we were genocide. We're not supposed to be existing anymore. You understand? That's why we're called Latino, Latinx, Hispanics, whatever they call you. You're not supposed to be indigenous. Only people that were put into a reservation and subjugated to that life and were issued cards are native. in their reality. But Indigenous Peoples Day is when we stood up together as a family, no matter how much blood, anybody who identified with being indigenous, or the community in general, banded together. Oh, wow. Man, they're really trying to stop the show. Anyways, we're going to still roll through it. Anyways, they came together to really correct a misconception of Columbus's greatness, right? And so a group of individuals challenged that day and said, well, we shouldn't be recognizing a rapist, a land thief. We should be recognizing the original people of this land, and that's how Indigenous Peoples Day was born. I played like 2 of their main events that happened on Hollywood Boulevard. That was about like 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah. I think you're on mute.
So that was just recently, right? So they changed the holiday from Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day?
Yeah. I mean, the city of Los Angeles said, you know, we're not going to recognize Columbus. We're going to recognize Indigenous people.
Okay, so wait a minute. It's only in Los Angeles?
You know what?
I'm hoping
No,
this
but
is
it's
a nationwide thing. Guys,
if
if anyone knows about this, is this a nationwide thing that they canceled Columbus Day and replaced it with Indigenous Peoples Day? Or
But
is it
I
just in
think
certain
other
regions?
states celebrate it on different days. I'm not sure how that works. Anyways, it's just a fucking holiday that the city said, you know, it has no federal, you know, like this is federally, you know, we don't work on this day because of them. Because they'll never do that.
Right.
They don't even think that slavery was bad. Like, well, why are you crying about it? It happened so long ago.
So there it is. Heron just confirmed it. It's not national. I say it should be national.
I don't know.
Can I ask you, Zero, how come it's not national?
I'm telling you, because they don't want to recognize their genocide of indigenous people. This city.
So you're telling me there was just enough people complaining about it in this city, so they were like, you know what, let's just shut them up and just give them what they want and put it on the rug? Or did they just genuinely understand the message?
From what I understand and from whom I met, which was a councilman, some sort of a councilman who had indigenous blood and felt very strongly that we shouldn't be recognizing a rapist, land thief, child kidnapper in Columbus. So that councilman said, no, this is a good thing to do. And I guess maybe the vote went and he swayed whoever or whatever needed to happen. I don't know the story, but how I mean, that's loosely how I know it.
That's loosely, yeah. And it kind of makes sense, right? It ties right into, you know, being outspoken. There it is. It's a false alarm, guys.
Red flag. It's a red flag. What do you call those false alarms?
I was just saying, you know, I don't know how I feel about that, genuinely, you know, because I had a feeling it wasn't national at first.
It was or
no?
wasn't?
I had a feeling it wasn't. You know, because from the outside looking in, you know, just reading on Indigenous Peoples Day, at first I just, you know, would assume it was national, but
It might be.
I second guessed it.
It might. Now that I think about it, it might be, but yeah, because they don't. I think there is a holiday on Columbus Day or something like that, and that's what they're trying to proclaim as Indigenous Peoples Day. Now you. Look at. I'm straight up coming from work, dude. I have this dumbass mask.
Maybe
on.
what I'm trying to say, it's a political tool.
You know, they like to give little commemorations to things they feel bad about, and we can accept them as something great, but it doesn't really define or tell the story of their genocide.
Yeah.
Who's gonna come out? Do you see the United States president or anybody in the Senate or anybody in political circles come out and say, yeah, we really fucked you guys up? No, they're not. They're gonna go, you guys are crying and forget about it, get over it. But we don't get over it. We move through it. There's no complaining. I'm not complaining about their stupid fucking holidays and misdirections or false empathy towards a horrific thing that happened to indigenous people. So horrific that we're still fighting it now. And for those of you that think we need to get over it, we are getting over it by telling the truth to our children about you guys. That's what we're going to do. There's no violent uprising coming from my voice. But I am going to tell the truth to my children and to my friends' children. And I'm going to speak the truth and challenge anything written with European perspective or any educated system, because we all know that that comes from the Rockefellers and the endowments that go into those large universities. And that's how they dictate everything. That it's falling apart and everybody's starting to learn about it. You know?
And that makes me feel better. You know, it is an important day. If it's recognized locally, if it's not recognized nationally, well, at least people recognize it. And it's a good start. It's a good seed to plant, you know?
Yeah,
and
when you tell the
grows.
truth about land thieves and rapists and stop glorifying them, then yeah, we took a tiny step forward.
So Hedon says in South Dakota, it was the first state to recognize the day in 1989. In the cities of Berkeley and Santa Cruz followed. California and Tennessee observed Native American Day in September.
Yeah, nothing impressive.
Right?
I don't like to shit on it. I don't
just
like to shit on it.
No,
I don't.
right, but
I'm a little tired.
But I agree with you on just labeling holidays just for the fuck of it. Like, nah, it's not.
Like if it's doing something for
with,
us, it
you know?
really doesn't do anything for us unless we're all organizing on that day to make ourselves and our community better. That's really where it's at.
That is huge.
You know
and
what I mean?
shout out to the organizers that are stepping it up and making things happen on this holiday, though.
Right. Like I can't wait to really.
They're on the front lines.
Yeah. I can't wait to, really start, doing the workshops that I want to plan at the Mananali Kali, because I really want to tackle the perspective of actually, getting something, right? Like if we say, oh yeah, Indigenous Peoples Day, they gave us that. Okay, cool. Everybody rest now. Everybody cool. Everybody like chill. Chill why? Okay, well, why don't we just declare on Indigenous Peoples Day that we all meet at Griffith Park and we come up with ideas to make our own communities better, safer, stronger, wiser, and more connected to the universe and the understandings of our great ancestors that came before us. How about that?
Well, there it is. Another great piece in the comments. He says, we need to organize and make it official in Los Angeles and then in all California. So it's not even official in Los Angeles.
Well, here's where I think it should be more official. In the hearts of every single Indigenous person on that day. You tell the oppressor, I'm not working that day. I don't work on that day. I organize on that day. I organize with my community, or I'll sit my family down and we organize about how we're going to become a better, more connected, more spiritual, more loving towards our community outside of us, everyone outside of us, even people we have disagreements, and the earth itself.
But don't they condition people?
That is Indigenous Peoples Day.
But don't they condition people to take holidays off like as a break, as a day off, right? You're saying, nah, don't take it as a day off.
Oh, why? Take it and use it and go, oh, wow, look, this is what we did on Indigenous Peoples Day. Not celebrate.
Not have a barbecue and just celebrate.
That's what they want you to do.
Exactly.
They want you to keep that, oh, yeah, well, fuck it, let's go fucking barbecue now. No, that's a distraction. It's like, think about it like this. You're in prison. Back in the days of the Spaniard, in this crude prison, and Indigenous Peoples Day is some rich landowner getting a handful of bread and throwing it at the fence at the gate, and a little bit sprinkles in, and everybody's fighting over it. That's Indigenous Peoples Day to me. It's not enough.
And I don't think it'll never be enough.
Yeah, I don't want them to ever give me enough, because it's not their responsibility. It's my responsibility to have enough. It's my responsibility to devise a plan to break out of the prison. It's my responsibility to take responsibility over me and my connection, my spirituality. So Indigenous Peoples Day, from this point on, since I am a public figure, will have to be something I organize, even if I just sit down in a room by myself and I organize my thoughts and I organize my heart intention and I start to be creative and I create something that's gonna help my community be done with colonial perspective.
And this is a call to all of our viewers and listeners. You know, what are you going to do on Indigenous People Day or weekend, right? 'Cause
Right.
I remember last year, you know, there was events going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday celebrating that day. You know, so
Don't get me wrong. I mean,
it's a whole weekend thing, you know?
don't get me wrong. I love the festivals. I love the things. I love playing. I love doing all that stuff. But there has to come a point where our community stops getting distracted with officials that never cared about you giving you something. They never cared. Ever, ever, ever. That's why I don't ask nothing of them. I make my own sovereign claim on this earth to live on this earth humbly, respectfully, lovingly. And if you try to get in the way of that, I'm going to maneuver around it. Because you don't have no rights over me. But every individual has to stand up in that way. Even my own children. They have to be taught to be that way. You have to grow them, water them. I try my best with my children. So hopefully, now that I'm a public figure and I have a podcast and I have to walk and talk it, maybe Indigenous Peoples Day, we are going to define Indigenous Peoples Day to be something that you organize within yourself, that you organize within your family, or that you organize within your community, which will be like a festival or some sort.
So,
But it has to come somewhere. We have to start believing in our truth, believing in our medicine, and stop listening for advice or waiting for a signal or waiting for a book to come out or waiting for a stupid-ass doctor to say some shit. This is serious shit. This is your own personal rights and freedom.
So, for anyone watching, listening, what are you going to do on Indigenous Peoples Day? Please chime in, add it into the comments. We would love to go over it. You know, how do you guys feel about Indigenous Peoples Day? You know, I think it's a great day.
No, I do too.
It's a great day to organize. Like you said, it's not a day to just sit back and relax.
Yeah, because then, you know, it's like, then they still rule you. You know what I mean? Okay, Indigenous Peoples Day over. Get the fuck back to work. Get the fuck back to doing what you're supposed to be doing. When you're just supposed to be living on this earth sovereign, humble, connected, enjoying. But that's not the way we live now. We live in like, I gotta go to work and and you spend more time at work. Here's where I'm kind of going to.
That's why like M. Lopez, he says we don't need a day.
Yeah, we have every day. Every day is Indigenous Peoples Day because you're alive. You're still alive. You still think you're indigenous. You still claim to be indigenous. That's Indigenous Peoples Day. The day you wake up and you open up your eyes and you're like, damn, another day I'm alive because this freaking colonizer didn't trap me or didn't try to poison me or didn't try to imprison me or didn't try to steal from me or didn't try to abuse me. That's Indigenous Peoples Day. He fucking made it.
M. Lopez confirms it. He says it's Indigenous Day 365 days a year.
Absolutely.
And Crazy Native says, I would love for there to be some sort of an event that day where I could take my kids and expose them to their truths.
Well, maybe that's something we need to work on, right?
That is you know what? I really appreciate you, Crazy Native, for you know, chiming in like that, because like how Zero says, that is something that we're attempting.
Yeah.
To do.
If I did something on Indigenous Peoples Day, it wouldn't just be a concert. It'd be like workshop, a film, and then music.
And shout out to IPR for hosting us, I believe, on the 10th,
Right.
because his place is not. It's a whole cultural center, right?
Right.
Graffiti.
Oh, that guy
arts,
works hard in the community, in the
you
hardest
know?
community.
And guys, if there's gonna be a day for us to gather, it is gonna be there, in Los Angeles. I believe it's called the IPR Arts Center, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's. I mean, you guys, I have a show. I'll be playing my new track, Global Pandemic, and sharing my music and my art with my community on that day. And yeah, I mean, Rick has been organizing for forever, and shout out to him and his work and his love and his adversities and his challenges, and no one's perfect.
It's a free event. October 10th, IPR Arts presents Indigenous Peoples Day. We got Zero of El Vuh. We got Viaje Caliche, I believe. DJ
Caliche.
Warlock 1, Disease 84, Cruise Chaos, DJ Jazzy Ho, and the one and only Sub 1. So that's going to be in LA. It's IPR.arts on Instagram. And if anyone's curious on the flyer, it's on our Instagram
Is it free?
as well. It's a free event.
Free event. There you go.
So there it is, guys. Like, we have a free event coming up. Zero's gonna smash it. Sub 1's gonna smash it. DJ Warlock 1, he's a dope producer and beat maker.
He always smashes it.
You know, and shout out to IPR for being in the front lines and celebrating this day, because it needs to be nationwide, dude. That's how I feel. Like, if it's not even recognized in LA, I can't even take it serious, bro.
Right. No, it is. I think it is. And LA has been the biggest, at least for me, but I live in Los Angeles, so I don't see
head on.
anybody
If you
else's.
could correct me on that, is it recognized by the city of Los Angeles? Because if it is, then it should be recognized globally.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. But, I mean, landowners don't like to go, well, I had to kill your mom and dad. How did I get this fucking land? Right? They don't like to say shit like that. But the truth is, it's not their job.
So
It's
do you
not- it's
remember?
not-
So do you remember the first Indigenous Peoples Day that you performed at? Like, was it something new to you? Like, oh shit, this is actually real. Like, I'm down to rock this.
I believe it was on Hollywood Boulevard. And when I agreed to do the show, because Indigenous people, the recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day, I think is just recent. It's not, they just changed it to Indigenous Peoples Day officially or whatever. But prior to that, there was big lobbying on our part in the Indigenous community to kind of switch it from, Columbus Day to this Indigenous Peoples Day. So they did protests, and they did one, or they locked the street down on Hollywood Boulevard. So when I got the invite to play, I was like, yeah, I'm down to play Indigenous Peoples Day. Where's it gonna be at? And they're on Highland in Hollywood. I'm all, there's no club on Highland. There's nothing there. There's the fucking Chinese theater and
the stars of Hollywood.
the stars of Hollywood. And they're like, no, boom. They shut that Hollywood piece from La Brea. No, what's the name of that street? I don't know. The two streets were blocked off, and it was a small group. It wasn't even it was maybe less than 150 people, but we were right there, and all the tourists looking around. It was during the DAPL stuff.
Oh, okay.
During the DAPL. That's when I first met Richie, 1492.
Oh, it was that at that first event.
At that event.
Oh wow, that's a legendary event.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Richie.
So Heron did say Garcetti did make it official in 2017. Looks like.
Yeah. See. So it's been a few years, and when they made it official, was that shutdown of Hollywood Boulevard, Aslan Underground played, El Vuh as a group played, and then I played as a solo artist the year after that. Yeah.
How was the promotion team behind it? I think you were familiar with the people that were kind of behind that one, right?
Yeah, it was just independent. It wasn't done with like a production company or that kind of a thing. They kind of just pieced together a PA system, and they put a stage out front, and they put a stage on the street, and did their little, did the concert right there.
Man, that's
so. And again, it was in the spirit of organizing, though, because they had to organize that stuff. They had to say, yeah, we're gonna shut this street down. So that's what I'm trying to say is like we got to take these moments of like we feel frustrated that that's all we get is this token day off that you get.
That's if it's a day off.
That's if. Right. Like, I don't know if it's a day off, but I know that Columbus Day was a day off, right? Nationally, I think it was Columbus
Best
Day.
believe if I was still working for Home Depot, if I went to the management office and I was like, hey, look, dude, I'm taking this day off. I want it paid. Like every other holiday. I doubt they'll tell me, yeah, you know what? Take it off and we'll pay you.
Hell no.
Oh, Christmas, though, you're fine. We'll pay you.
Yeah.
Or New Year's, go ahead, take the day off. It's considered paid vacation.
Yeah. Well, in Europe, like they like companies have to give you time off, right?
Yeah.
Like long periods of time off. Like it's not just like one day, like, New Year's and fucking Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like they make it seem like, oh, we have all this time off, but we really don't get a lot of time off.
Guys, I want to know, Zero wants to know, what are you going to do on Indigenous Peoples Day?
Yeah.
What are you going to do next weekend to tap into that holiday?
I think what we should do is organize, and this is what I suggest to our community. I suggest that our community organize something on Instagram. One of you guys could do it, and I'll follow along with whatever you guys do. But make a statement about Indigenous genocide. Don't, I guess, be tasteful, be loving, be respectful. But we got to start coming out with the truth, because if not, we'll go into this next 100 years blind as a bat. And that's not where we're at anymore. We're very aware of the atrocities that happen to our people. And it's not to make us look weak or make us look like we can't get out of it, but more along the lines to gain strength of how we survived this bullshit. We're super strong people.
So we have one comment, right? And this is really good. This is what we want to know, because we want to change it up. Like, what are you going to do on Indigenous Peoples Day? So Osel 1491 says, I'll probably be reading books on the Mexica.
There you go. See?
That is a great step.
Reorganizing his thoughts.
That's absolutely, that's what we want, right,
Yeah.
Zero?
Yeah. Reorganize your thoughts. Reorganize your heart intention. Reorganize. Maybe you have a small family and you go, hey, you know what? Today on Indigenous Peoples Day, we're going to go on a hike and we're all going to look for a hawk, or we're all going to look for a wild animal that's going to bring medicine to us. How about we do that on Indigenous Peoples Day? That's going to be beautiful.
Well, I want to ask you, Zero, like, if your son goes up to you and asks you, hey, Dad, what's Indigenous Peoples Day? Like, how can you sum it up, like, in quick couple sentences?
Well, I mean, it depends on which one, because I have different ages. But if it's my son who's 5, I have to be delicate about it. Like, that's the day that these individuals decided to recognize indigenous atrocity. That's how I tell my 5-year-old.
Damn, that's fucking truth, guys.
But if he hears that kind of talk, by the time he's 12, he's going to be standing up for himself. He's going to know that people have been mistreating him and his people just because he is of this lower caste system. But that's not the truth. That's their truth. That's not his truth. That's not my truth. I define my truth. I train him to define his own truth. That's how we remain sovereign, strong, rooted, connected, and wise. That's how I feel we do that. But we have to go to the motions of it. And so let's not let Indigenous Peoples Day, or if we should all just not, instead of going, oh yeah, fucking give us Indigenous Peoples Day. Why'd you say, fuck it, we're just taking that day off and fucking write me up or whatever the fuck you gotta do. But I go to hike with my family on that day.
Absolutely.
And we go enjoy our Mother Earth. Because it's Indigenous Peoples Day. That's what we did 24/7. All the time for 26 millenniums. Wait, millenniums are 2,000 or 1,000? I forget. Anyways, 26,000 years is what I was trying to say.
So someone commented saying that they took down the Christopher Columbus statue in Los Angeles, California a few years ago.
Nice. About time. How long did it take? Fucking 500 years? Jesus. When did that shit go up? It shouldn't even went up.
It had to take when Instagram was like 10 years in.
Shouldn't even went up. It shouldn't. Who puts that fucking guy up?
No, but Zero does have a point, guys. Like, Indigenous Peoples Day shouldn't just resort to events.
It should.
You
Or
know?
if the event is an event, there are interactive, creative events. You know what I mean? There are things that we can do as a community that you walk away learning something, meeting someone, getting something personal that helps you and guides you. I'm talking about, like, some people like buying necklaces, because the necklace holds the power because your intentions in that decision to wear it. And what does it represent? So I'm talking about things like that. It's not just going to the same old and trying to find artists that speak about this particular subject. It's more about how we are in a community going to educate the community of the atrocity of genocide and how we don't need an oppressor to help us out of it. We need ourselves to help us out of it. And we do that on Indigenous Peoples Day. So doing a massive campaign on IG, even if it's 100 people that joined, and maybe posting something that really recognizes Indigenous people this day, not just going, oh yeah, today you're fucking cool, Indigenous guy. We like you today. Or about telling the story about how they stole and they broke 500 treaties. Every single treaty they wrote, they broke it. How about educating or informing? Not educating. Such a habit to use that word. How about informing our community about that? Wouldn't it be cool to go into a tent and go, oh yeah, look, back in 18-something, treaty broken by so-and-so. Oh, back in something, treaty broken. And then you're like, what the fuck? They've been breaking fucking treaties the whole time they were here. So how do they have merit? How do they have law? How do they have all these things? How do we fall in line to liars and thieves?
Well, I would love it when, I have a lot of white homies, a lot of Asian homies, black homies, all kinds of homies, right? But I know deep down in my heart, if I go to the closest white homie that I have and ask him, hey, dude, what are you going to do on Indigenous Peoples Day? Do you know what he's going to tell me? He's going to tell me, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly.
No, not to shit on the holiday, but he's not going to take it as serious as I'm taking it.
He's probably not even going to know about it.
See,
it's only
that's
people.
my frustration, Zero. Like, that's the situation. How can we change that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm telling you that they don't have power. They only have power when they make you mad, right? Because then you go off with erratic thoughts, right? And you're like, I'm not really thinking.
He'll probably think I'm tripping. Like, well, what are you talking about? It's a holiday? Like,
yeah.
Where you're trying to do something positive or productive on that day? Well, damn right.
Yeah. Well, it has to be. We have to take our days very seriously, and we can't let colonials define what days we relax in and what days we don't relax in. As a matter of fact, you should not be relaxing on days that give you off. You should be doing something, and that goes for me too. But something could be a nice day at the beach with your family. Something could be a hike into the woods. Something could be, hey, today we're going to learn about weaving baskets. How do we learn how to weave baskets,
Just don't cook hot dogs or hamburgers or have a carne asada. That's not how you treat Indigenous Peoples Day, I believe.
I mean, I don't know if that's what happens. Or whatever, but we need to start organizing at this point is what I'm saying, is that enough voicing an opinion and making a statement. Okay, that's what that is. I'm Indigenous, now I'm making a statement. Okay, cool. Now what happens after that?
Well, because, remember, we had a few emails. A couple people were trying to book you for not just any day. Yeah. They were trying to book you for Indigenous Peoples Day.
Right.
It wasn't a coincidence that they're trying to book you for that day.
Yeah, well, I speak a lot about those issues. So, being Indigenous is very important to me, because I don't have. It's kind of like I can't even say that.
Okay, so this is great. We have a great comment, Zero, right here from Lila. She said she's gonna send her girls off to school with a feather, so they can teach those who don't know.
There you go.
Wow.
That's beautiful, dude. See how creative our community could be? See how strong our women could be? That's what we need to do. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Imagine all the kids, and then, you know what? I'm going to tell Lawis to take a feather on that day. And, luckily, Lawis goes to Semillas, which is right on Huntington Boulevard, which is a charter school, an indigenous charter school. So
see, that's already changing the paradigm. We got one person saying, he's going to read on the Mexica.
Yeah.
And then we have another person saying, dude, I'm going to send my kids off with a feather.
Right. And if they ask about it, tell them, hey, I'm remembering my people. I am my people. I'm still here. I'm always going to be here. I'm never leaving my Mother Earth. This is a gift to my life and my lineage and my people. Your genocide isn't going to stop me from being who I am. Man, imagine it. That's what I want to teach Lawis to be,
So there it is, man. What are you going to do for Indigenous Peoples Day or Indigenous Peoples Weekend coming up?
Right.
We want
Instead
you
of joining the protests and letting people take the lead, what are you going to do individually, sovereignly?
See, that's what a lot of people wait for, Zero.
Yeah.
To organize an
Who's
event.
going to do it? Oh, he didn't do it? Fuck. Okay, well, let's go get some beer. Nah, dude, do something for yourself, and I'm challenging myself. You guys are my mirror, so I have to do something too.
And I consider it an honor to see you perform Zero on Indigenous Peoples Day or on Indigenous People Weekend on this Sunday, October 10th at IUPR. Guys, if there's going to be one place, and if you're local and if you're from the LA area, this is one place to go to. It's a free event. I believe it's from 12 to 7. There's going to be vendors there. I'm sure it's going to be packed.
Yeah.
It's
a cool little gig, and I like Rick, man. He's a very hard worker for that community, and he accepts everyone. You know what I mean? It's not just, this is just strictly indigenous. This is this is a community center where people go and if he finds someone to help out, give a workshop, this brother works hard.
Okay, so M. Lopez just added, do we need a vaccine passport to attend?
No. No, you don't need to be vaccinated with the booster. With the booster. Oh, man, these fucking guys are just insanely out of control.
So Hector asks, funny comment. He says, do white people have Indigenous Day in Europe? Aren't they indigenous to Europe?
Yeah.
Are they indigenous anywhere else?
Well, that's the debate. From what we've studied.
Yo, that's a great comment, Hector.
From what we studied. But all of this is challenging white supremacy, right? All of this stuff that we're trying to do is challenging white supremacy. And how do you challenge white supremacy? By taking your own sovereignty back, right? Who you are, what you stand for, who you consider teachers, and what you consider the connection to the great creator. Because no man has that power, right? We have to be humble. It doesn't mean you don't get to see the great creator, because you do. You see it every day. The magnificence, the sadness, the atrocities, the happiness, the triumph, the community, the division. So your experience, how you deal with it, that's, to me, what indigenous people are. They lived in deserts, mountain ranges, near oceans. We were in nature. We were not in cities, in apartments. That wasn't our life. Our life was full of challenges every day. And so we should have that type of perspective every day. I try to have that perspective every day. So on Indigenous Peoples Day, I want to do something. I want to organize something, even if it's as small as organizing my own self, maybe my own day. I wake up with the sun, I burn the sage, say my prayer, go into my community, do my job at my storefront. Whatever it is, maybe I do something bigger. Maybe I get my family together. and I organize my family and I go, today we're going to cook something together. Or maybe I organize my family and today we're going to go for a hike together in nature. Right? Because sometimes that connection alone, your personal connection with Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is connected to the great mystery. Connect on that level on Indigenous Peoples Day. That's what I feel.
So a couple more comments, guys. What are you going to do on Indigenous Peoples Day, man? I know what we're going to do. We're going to be rocking at IPR. I'm looking forward to that. DJ Warlock 1 is going to be coming in this Wednesday.
Shout out DJ Warlock 1.
In a couple days, man, we got a very special producer, beat maker that's going to be coming in. Raw interview. We're going to be doing a live beat set. And then confirmed, we got Dreamin' coming up, from Australia. I think that's going to be one of our most explosive
dope fucking interview.
That's going to be one of our most explosive interviews yet. I'm definitely going to follow
Australia
with our brother from Australia because a lot's going down over there right now.
Big time.
A lot's going down.
Big motherfucking time.
And we have...
I have a feeling why, and I have an opinion on why that's happening over there. But what's the other comment you said?
No, it's just, we're definitely going to lock them in pretty soon. And we have Scars coming up. Another very high-profile individual out of LA, very tapped into the community. Shout out to Head On for making that happen. We got some major players that are going to be coming in either through our video chat system or in our studio. So what are you going to do on Indigenous Peoples Day? I want to hear you guys. Please comment. Let me know what you guys are going to do. Shout out to Head On. He says, if they believe they identify as white, then they are no longer traditional sovereign people of their motherland in Europe. Wow. I actually agree with that. Shout out to that. How is the store doing, Zero?
Good. It's doing good. I mean, we're hanging in there. It's not like lines out the door and stuff, but, people are coming. Jenny has a big following with people who are having, children. So a lot of them coming out. So shout out to Jenny and all of her clients. I don't know every single name, but I know a lot of them have been coming, and it's just really the community and the locals. The locals are starting to try vegan food and plant-based food, and they're trying the smoothies and they're liking them. So it's and I'm happy because, like I said, my grandmother bought her house around where I put my shop at, and man, it's just beautiful to bring back medicine to that community because that community needs it, and it needs a place that's free to go and be yourself. And as soon as you walk in there, you feel who you are and where you come from. That was our intention at that Kali, me and Jenny and my family. My sons work there. And I'm proud of my family for coming together in that way and putting this intention out for the community of Los Angeles. And, it's just been good, bro.
Man.
It's been a lot of work, though, but it's been good.
So, that being said, I got major plans in the works to organizing our next LA Natives event.
Okay.
We might not call it LA Natives, right? Of course, we're not going to call it the Custer's Last Stand. We're going to come up with a new concept. We're going to move with Echo and Aslan.
Oh, okay.
We got something big cooking up January 28th with a group called Quinto Sol.
Nice. I heard of them. I've known of them.
With the K.
Yeah, I know of them. They're from Chicago or Milwaukee or something. I never met them, though.
Guys.
Oh, we got
January. No, we're definitely going to bring him into the studio.
Sweet.
Because January 28th, we got Quinto Sol headlining. Zero's going to be performing. Zero, I did tell Zero we wanted to make it an all Spanish lineup, but Zero did have a point that making it bilingual will just be icing on the cake.
Yeah, because it brings two communities together that need to be together. I mean, yeah, you could be a Spanish speaking individual, but when we become a community that loves everyone, in other words, Spanish speaking, English speaking, whatever, we're all one community.
And we know LA. LA is your city.
Yeah.
And much respect to Quinto Sol. They're superstars from
Yeah.
Mexico.
They're really organized. They have massive amount of albums, massive amount of merchandise, and they're super dope. They're Spanish rap, though. They're like a Spanish rap.
And what I really love about that group, they're really tapped into their indigenous roots.
Yeah.
You know, all of their artwork, all of their album covers are somewhat tied into that. You know, I believe their first album, one of their first album was called Los Hijos de Maíz.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
then there was like an Aztec calendar on it or some shit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just tripping the hell out.
I remember that album when it came out.
Right?
Because it was around the time that, El Vuh or Calpuli was doing stuff.
Right. And they're a trio,
Yeah.
just like how El Vuh was.
Yeah. They have a cool ass producer too, because that producer's pretty fire too. So I can't wait for that event.
So we're planning on flying in Eptos Uno.
Nice.
That's going to be dope.
yeah.
Headlining Quinto Sol, co-headlining yourself.
Nice.
Right? Trying to get as many Spanish-speaking artists I can. But I definitely want to sneak in Sub One in that one as well.
Definitely.
You know?
I mean, Sub is dope. I mean, you could hear his single, man. His single's fire.
So Hector says, celebrating Indigenous Day is like being over a consolation prize for at least making this far.
Yeah. If that's the way you want to take it, I just feel that we as a people need to take the steps to implement what that is. That is trying to create a strong bond with nature. And that's a hard thing to do when you come from cities. Like, remember, like you told me, like, I've never really been, I remember you saying, Armando, in season 1, that nature's kind of, you feel awkward in nature.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it should be, bro. You should be fucking feeling natural. Like, you should be feeling good in nature. And if you have those type of traumas and if you have that type of thing, then maybe that's what you should be doing on your Indigenous Peoples Day.
Bro, I'm like motivated to take a hike. I'm motivated to study Matsatsin's book.
There you go.
Right? I'm pumped to go to this Indigenous Peoples Day event, IPR, and link up and network with people, like-minded individuals. I'm looking forward to seeing DJ Warlock 1 rip a dope beat set for that day.
Oh yeah, he's fire. He has like a classic 90s sound, and it's like, but it's now. It's like now, during this time, which is dope.
I want everyone to spread the word that we're going to be phasing out our Twitch and going full-blown YouTube. So it's a hard decision to make, Zero.
Yeah.
You might not agree with it, but we are kind of growing out of Twitch and we're getting the results on YouTube that we like, And then now to add the icing on the cake, within the next few weeks, we're going to be on Spotify video. So we're going to have another great option for our audience to either listen to us on Spotify or switch it up to the video version. We're going to be right up there with Joe Rogan.
Wow.
That's amazing, right?
That's
a
pretty
podcast
cool.
that's actually devoted to the indigenous hip hop community.
Yeah. And indigenous issues and the spiritual greatness of who we are. That's really where I live. It's so hard to trust yourself to believe that understanding still exists, because they tell you every day that those people were conquered or they no longer are here, but they exist in so many other ways than just in a physical shell.
I want to ask our audience to do us a huge favor. DM us any dope indigenous hip hop artists that you guys know about. Simply by sending us a DM, sending us their handle. I personally want to reach out to them and invite them to the show. Let's sit down with them either in studio or let's send them a video invite. I definitely want to put on as many new indigenous hip hop artists that we haven't put on yet. So I think that's going to be a very important mission for season 2. And not have the traditional conversations, you know what I'm saying? We're just going to, tackle it a little deeper,
Yeah.
And with our next guest, which is going to be Sub 1, after our 2-hour show or an hour and a half show, we're going to break it off to our exclusive content. So starting with starting with Warlock 1, we will be launching our Patreon.
Oh, sweet. Okay. That's dope.
So we need to figure out how much deeper we're going to get into the conversation, because we just can't give everyone the icing on the cake on YouTube and Spotify. This Patreon is definitely going to just, allow our audience to dive in deeper on your thoughts and subject matter.
Yeah, I'm going to be very specific on the Patreon thing. When we do our Patreon videos, they're going to be very specific. And then I also want to tie them in with the live workshops that we can do at the shop. You know what I mean? So I want to launch those possibly maybe November. And the workshops are going to consist of breaking colonial perspective. How do we do that? What does that mean? So the live workshop will probably be filmed and then uploaded to Patreon.
Yes, all the extended content, all the exclusive content is going to be pre-recorded and then uploaded immediately on our Patreon page.
Yeah.
We would go through YouTube subscription or Spotify subscription, but Patreon, I think it's more independent. It's a lot more easier for our audience to consume that content.
Right. Well, it won't be censored for stupid shit. Right now it's just ridiculous, and they're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, and it's just not a place where you're gonna want to be on a public platform, and then every fucking 5 minutes you're being censored or taken down, or your
thank
accounts.
you, Northern California, Chicano. I'm gonna reach out to Stewie G, Brandon as well. Stewie G, that's one great lead right there. If you guys are telling us to reach out to that artist or rapper, I will definitely do so. I just took a screenshot of that. Shout out to Brandon.
Is that Brandon Tattoos?
And he wants us to and he wants us to interview Bamboo.
Oh, Bamboo's dope. I know Bamboo. Well, I don't know his number, but we played tons of shows with him as El Vuh.
What are you guys gonna do for Indigenous Peoples Day? Chime in. We want to know.
Absolutely.
It's coming up this weekend, guys. This is a very important day for me. It's a very important weekend for me. Best believe.
Is it on Saturday or Sunday?
It's gonna be. Well, the event's on a Sunday.
Okay, so it's on Sunday.
But I don't know if it specifically falls on a specific day, though.
What? Wait, the
guys,
show's on the 10th, though.
Yeah,
right?
head on. If you're still with us,
I think it's on the 12th. Indigenous Peoples Day on the 12th, I think.
head on. Does Indigenous Peoples Day fall on a certain date on the calendar, or is it like a weekend thing?
I think it's on the 12th. Indigenous Peoples Day is on the 12th. October 12th, I think. But I'm not for sure.
So global pandemic.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
It's long overdue for the music video. I
Absolutely.
want to help you shoot these scenes.
Yeah.
So we could just finalize it, cut it up, release it. You're going to be performing this this Sunday, right?
Yep. I love that song. That song's so relevant right now. And I wrote that song so long ago. But the things that they're asking of people is ridiculous. So my song
Crazy
is still relevant.
Native says it's officially October 11th.
Yeah, see, somewhere around there. October 12th, October 11th.
So it falls on a Monday?
I guess.
Wow.
I don't really pay attention to it. It's like, I just know sometimes I get a lot of gigs on that day. That's all I know.
Much respect to Indigenous Peoples Day, guys. We have an event, IPR. It's
October 10th.
October 10th. DJ Warlock 1. Sub 1's going to be in the building. We got something special for you guys. You know, come out, support. This is going to be the show, you know. I'm just super excited because I'm a big hip hop head. There's going to be some dope performances there. I'm hoping and I'm looking forward to seeing some live art.
Yeah.
Some lectures.
I'm you know, when I play shows, I really look forward to like meeting the people that went to go see the show. I don't care if it's just 3 people, 10 people, 100 people, it doesn't matter. I think, you know, me taking the step in doing the podcast is for me to be more interactive with the community that actually listens to what I have to say. And if any misunderstandings, because, you know, all this stuff is very sensitive and guarded and, you know. So anyways, I love to be interactive. So if you're going to go to the show, please come by, bring some friends. Let's make a statement on that day that we're a community, a strong community of LA natives. And those that show up, man, we can chat it up and, you know, I can give you somewhat of an introduction of like what I want to do in the workshops, you know?
So these workshops, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
You know, what are some of the elements you want to incorporate in these workshops coming up?
Well, I think that, you know, I'm not going to hand out fucking paperwork and make you take notes. That's not the purpose of this workshop. The purpose of this workshop is to really challenge the perspective that we have. Because sometimes colonialism or colonialism ways are embedded in us so much that we can't even see them, right? Like the first one that I had to tackle was patriarchy, right? Had the masculine perspective, dominating women. That was hard to deal with, you know? And I'm going to ask my friends to help me with it because they have more experience doing the workshops. I have a good ability to articulate what I'm trying to say. But my friends have good ideas too. So, you know, my friend Lucas, I have my friend Armando. I have a lot of good friends that already done workshops. So I'm going to ask their advice. And then, you know, really, since I have a space, invite the people that really want to, you know, challenge their perspective, get pointed in the right direction, because I have no answers. I only have my life, my experience, and what has happened to me.
Absolutely. On top of the October 10th event, you're going to be hosting the Nightmare Before Christmas event. 800 people are going to be in that building. 800 people.
Yeah. That one's going to be a challenge because I've never hosted anything, but I think my job there is going to be to really give a message to that audience.
Absolutely.
Of our spiritual power, our connection with this land, and I'll be able to do it in front of people that I feel like kind of feel it, but
you're going to be dropping some bombs on them, especially on those couple of songs you're going to be performing.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm really looking forward to that Conejo show. I'm a big fan of Conejo, just because he's like, to me, he's like the Mexican Nas. You know what I mean? It's like the West Coast version of Nas, you know? And I just really feel like his style is unique, and his lyricism is very witty, very smart, you know, written very smart. I'm just a fan of hip hop. That's like a traditional hip hop, you know, juggernaut.
Right. I you know, me personally, I see him as a super hard worker. I remember you told me a story about, you know, you kind of remember a phase sometime in your hip hop career where like you saw Conejo posters everywhere, like in a club.
Exaggerated. Like,
And-
I was like, damn, who has? I mean, and it was a dope ass poster too. Like, it was a good photo. His logo was nice. It was like, whoa, who's this good? And we walked down the hallway to the restroom. Nothing but Conejo pork. I mean, like back to back to back to back like that.
So
and then I open the door to the restroom. I look on the wall and it's fucking Conejo fucking everywhere, bro.
So in retrospect, you know, you would think, oh, that's kind of overdoing it, but that's what got him to where he's at today.
Oh.
Like that promotion, that grind. Because a lot of rappers wouldn't do that, right, Zero? A lot of rappers wouldn't take it to that level on promotion, and especially street promotion, because that's like the most raw street promotion you could get.
Yeah, it was like a street team approach. I don't know if he had one, because I didn't see it, but I just seen his face everywhere, which is dope. He deserves it. He works hard, and he's a dope-ass rapper.
And then following that up with, like I said, the Hecho en Aslan, something that we're going to try to move forward with every year, Zero. Like, this is something that's going to be very important to me, because that title is going to be important. You know, if we're going to label something Hecho en Aslan, it just has to be a dope lineup.
It can't just be the name Aslan. Like, we have to really know what we're saying when we say Aslan.
Yeah, a lot of things are going to go into that title of Hecho en Aslan, and I'm so proud to get Quinto Sol on board for this event.
Well,
You know?
I'm honored too, because they have a huge following.
And I know you've spit a couple Spanish lines in your tracks before,
I could write in Spanish.
right?
Yeah. Well, the second verse of Global Pandemic is in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're going to hit them hard with that, bro. You know?
Global Pandemic is a bilingual song about the atrocity of racism, bigotry, and how the power of our love, because our Mother Earth gives us love. She challenges us, but she gives us love. How? She gives us life. Life is love. But life comes with atrocities, and, you know, sometimes you grow up really bad. But then you grow up and take control of your life. And that's when you're able to love and really see love. You know, you're able to appreciate it because maybe you didn't grow up with it. You know?
So we have a lot of viewers tuning in right now. And not all you guys are chiming in on letting us know what you are going to do on Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah, we
Do
need
not
to know.
hesitate. We need to know. All
need to
you
know.
guys tuning in,
Someone already had a
You know,
dope-ass
no,
idea.
this
They're
is
going to send their kids
this-
with feathers. That's a dope one.
Another idea I would think, right? I don't know if I had kids, I would take them to Manalani Superfoods.
There you go. That would be an adventure.
No, that's dude, Manalani Superfoods is a staple for Indigenous Peoples Day. Because you're walking in there and your concept is absolutely amazing. It fits right into that day, right? You know?
I think, you know, me and my partner are trying to work on our grand opening to be on that day,
Right.
on Indigenous Peoples Day.
Oh,
And-
serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
wow.
that because we have to have a grand opening, and we haven't had one because we kind of waited forever for the fucking city of Los Angeles to give us our business license. But once we attained that, we started operating, and we didn't have a chance to organize something like that. So here I am saying, hey, you go and organize for Indigenous People Day. So I guess my challenge would be to try to organize something close to that day. And, you know, it's like my birthday month. I was born in October, so it's getting close to my birthday. So if I don't make Indigenous Peoples Day, it'll be closer to my birthday. But yeah, it's time to really kind of focus in our energy, and you know, that's what I'm doing with Malinali. You know, I'm really focusing all my energy to providing quality products to my community that I love.
So Heron is saying he's going to the AIM Orange County at their event. I'm not sure what event that is, Heron. Hopefully you can specify it.
Yeah,
Help
I
us
don't know
out
who
right
that
there.
is. I don't know what.
You know, we're going to be at IPR. So For anyone that wants to catch a dope performance, a dope hip hop concert, free event. I doubt you need any vaccine requirements.
No, not there. I don't think so. It's not a club.
Don't quote me.
It's not a fucking club.
That's where we're going to be this Sunday in LA, performing live. Zero's going to rip it. Sub 1, DJ Warlock 1. And keep in mind, this Wednesday, we got a very special guest. We got DJ Warlock 1 coming in. I've been personally trying to get him in here for months. Zero.
Yeah.
It just
He's busy.
It just never worked out. I know he's an entrepreneur. He runs a restaurant. And he's a dope producer. He works with so many people.
Yeah, he's
And
busy.
You're right. He's a super busy guy. So for
and
him
he
to,
dedicates a lot of time to making beats.
and you have an explosive, one of your dopest songs I've ever heard off of one of his beats.
Yeah, I was hearing what was happening that day. I think I was
Like
scrolling.
you and him are definitely gonna have some deep conversations this Wednesday, man. Because that dude knows so much. He's been in the game for years.
Well, yeah, he has the mentality that I have. In other words, he knows how to record music. He knows how to make beats. I know how to make beats. It's gonna be a fun interview to get into his head, and then to know that where he comes from, what his story is, like how did he get here, and I'm not sure because I don't know if he was born in Los Angeles. I don't think he was born in Los Angeles.
Right, but to have him to be the first guest for season 2, like I think that's amazing, because he's one of your producers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
He's performed at least one of our events.
And he works with everybody in the community. He's done Jag's beats. I think he's done Ozzo Motley's beats. He does everybody's beats.
I'm sure he's produced for Sub 1 too.
Yeah, this dude's a
Don't
monster
quote
when it
me
comes
on
to
that,
beats.
Sub 1. If he hasn't produced for you, I'll make sure he does. I wanted to mention that, Zero, because when I came across DJ Warlock 1 for the first time, the first thing that came across my mind was like, dude, his beats are so dope.
Yeah, he has a really good. I want to ask him like what his process is, because I mean he does have and what I like about him is that he uses old machines, like in Sonics. Those are old beat machines, like really, really, like one of the first ones made. And they have a certain sound, they have a certain programming rhythm. And they're very hard to work with because you have to keep stuffing fucking floppy disk. Imagine floppy disk. You have to work with floppy disk. What the floppy? These kids don't even know what the fuck a floppy disk is. You know what floppy disk is?
One of those old discs that used to store data.
Yeah. Can you see, like, that's
when dudes like, I'm sure in your days, like you guys had those cases where you put all the discs.
Yeah,
right?
dude, I have a whole fucking shoebox right now, and it has floppy disks in it. You know what I mean? It's like, those are my old beats I created on a Korg Triton, and the Korg Triton stored all the samples on a floppy disk. It holds like 1.2 megabytes. 1.2 megabytes. And that was a lot.
Yo, Fernando, go ahead and email us that information on that research paper, bro. LA Natives Podcast at Gmail. We would love to have you on and discuss it. There's a gentleman here that says he just got done with the research paper on the Aztec calendar.
That's good.
He submitted it to the Mary Miller at the Getty Center. Let us cover it, bro. Just go ahead and email us that. I really appreciate you tuning in.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear your opinion on that because, for a long time.
Like, who does a research paper on it? Dude, Fernando, much respect, right?
Yeah. For dedicating that time to I'm not sure if is he Mexican?
I believe so.
Okay, cool. Well, when you find inspiration in the profound art that our elders had, I mean, our art wasn't based on ego. It was based on information. To be an artist, you were giving information to the community with your art. That's why the Tonan Mashiot is a piece of art. We were a community of artists. What was our art? It wasn't just, I know how to paint, or I know how to write poems, or I know how to write songs. That's not the only people who get to be artists in the societies of the past, I believe. Your own personal, sovereign creativity was your art. The way you lived life was your art. The way you live life now is your art. We all are profound artists. They come from profound artists. You know what I mean? They were the artists of the past. They created the temples. They created the books, the sacred books. They knew to translate the universe into art so that the people can understand their place on this earth in a humble way, in a connected way.
So one thing I didn't know about DJ Warlock One, that he rapped.
Yeah,
You know,
I didn't know that either.
He was rapping at our event.
That'd be a good guy. Oh, excuse me. I'm a little tired. That'd be a good guy to put on the Echo and Aslan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's going to be a show that we definitely have to curate from the ground up, guys. You know, we got Quinto Soul. They're a great super group out of Mexico, but it's like I want to put them in front of a different audience that they typically perform in front of. Like,
right.
Know, they usually get promoted by, you know, these usual corridos, mariachi type promoters. Not to shit on anyone that promotes that.
No, that's
music.
their audience. Their core audience. Their core audience is that.
Right.
You know, the
so,
corridos and all.
you know, them collaborating with us, it's just like we're allowing them to tap into a whole different scene of real hip hop enthusiasts,
right,
that are hip hop first rather than, you know, just club first. Do you feel me? I've been knowing about their music, dude, since I was in high school.
Yeah, they've come out with a couple. They've come out with a couple hits. They have a couple hits, man. I mean, I like them. I just haven't heard any of their new stuff, but I know the old stuff.
So we got DJ Warlock One, and then to follow that up, we're gonna have the kid from Australia, man.
Dreaming.
Yeah. Like
now, I wanted to
now I wanted to let you know there was a couple people that wanted to get on. I think this coming Wednesday and debate you about, you know, a couple things you said.
What the fuck?
About the whole, you know, the lockdown and stuff like that. But people have their opinions, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But we're gonna be talking to someone that is actually in the front lines.
Yeah.
In Australia.
That's the real deal.
The real deal. Because from the looks of it, there's a lot of you know, people have a lot of limitations right now over there.
Big time. Over there, they're only allowed an hour out of their house. That's been going on for a while.
That's crazy, yo.
Now, they sent me a couple pieces. Shout out to people who sent me the info on like Australia and stuff. But they want everyone mandated vaccinated. They're not playing. Everyone needs to be. And they're like, well, what about, there has to be some exempt. He's all, nobody's exempt from that. I don't see anybody exempt from that. I don't think anybody's going to be exempt from that. It's like, but what if, well, you won't go to school. You won't have a job. How do you debate that? Like, man, that's like crazy.
The first interview that we had was explosive. He was going in.
He's deep, man.
I could only imagine how much deeper he's going to get into this one. You know?
But now, okay, so
now we're peaking. I just want to remind people, we are peaking right now, right? This is quite possibly our last free episode until we start interviewing, you know, guests. We're going to be, you know, booking for we book for months ahead of time. So that being said, I want to ask our audience, because we are peaking, what are you going to do for Indigenous Peoples Day?
Absolutely. Give us an idea. Give us your artistic.
We got over 30, 40 people tuning in. Let us know what you guys want us to cover for season 2. Give us your guys' input, guys. Right, Zero?
Yeah, absolutely. And like as I was talking about the
like, please engage
the workshops.
With us.
I want it to be the audience driven workshops. Like I want people to go, I want you to talk about this specific thing, right? And then I'll use what my experience has been, what my teachings have been, what my ceremony has been, to try to give you my perspective, because I feel like I broke colonial perspective. I don't believe in their religion. I don't believe in their science. I don't believe in their education. I don't believe in anything they brought. You know, I just turn my head or turn my body away from everything that they brought. And I'm still fighting the demons that live inside of me from things they brought, right? But that's a lifelong journey that we deal with. But let me give one point about Australia. Why do you think it's so aggressively being implemented? Like, why are they using Australia as the prime example of what's going to happen? You know, it's going to sequentially, it's going to go like, oh, wow, Australia. Like, it's like what we said with China, right? When the stupid idiot thing happened. Oh, it's way over there in China. That's not going to happen here. And then what happened? It's like it happens way over there, and then all of a sudden, boom, it happens here. Right? So Australia is a colony of Britain, right? And they established Australia before anybody went to Australia. They went, oh, we're going to go to Australia and we're going to build a prison in Australia. So it's a prison. Originally a prison. They used to send people there as prisoners. Like, fuck it, this guy's getting life in prison. Send him to Australia. I feel that's why the Queen of England or whoever the fuck owns Australia, supposedly, so-called Australia, as Al Dreamin says it. I wonder why it's so restricted there. They're almost like in prison, right? That's an interesting look.
So, guys, what are you going to be doing on Indigenous Peoples Day? It's coming up. It's specifically, I believe, on October 11th, but that's a Monday, guys. So there's Friday, there's Saturday, and there's Sunday. Those days is, usually people have those days off. Or
here's an idea: learn a native song. Find a friend who knows native ceremony song. Learn a ceremony song. There you go. That's enough. That's step one.
And if you can't do that, listen to some Indigenous hip hop.
There you go. Go research Indigenous hip hop artists on that day. We got to dedicate that day to being Indigenous,
right?
Fully.
Yeah. As soon as this show's over, I'm gonna go ahead and create a post on Instagram and ask all of our audience, like, yo, what are you gonna do
on Indigenous Peoples Day?
Yeah.
How are you going to commemorate it? Are you just going to go, cool, today's Indigenous Peoples Day? Or are you going to go, nah, today I'm going to wake up with the sun and I'm going to burn sage. I'm going to say a prayer for my past loved ones.
We had one guest say he's going to study the Mexica.
Yep.
And then
we had a parent say they're going to give their children feathers and they're going to send them off to school. And what are you going to do? I know, I can tell you what I want to do. This is what I want to do on Indigenous Peoples Day. The first thing I do when I wake up is I'm going to burn some sage. I'm going to say a prayer for all those that have passed unjustly, too soon. But they still live in us. And they're begging us to be them, to represent them. That their lives have not been lost just because a colonizer decided to take their life, land, and way of life. Only you can determine that. There have been many, many people in the past that struggled really hard to bring back the ceremonies. Sweat lodges were illegal until the 70s. Sun dances were illegal. We got to remember on Indigenous Peoples Day. We got to remember who we are and wake up with the sun. Maybe go for a run. Go for a run. I'm going to go for a run.
Here's another one, a great one. Someone just commented, how about supporting your native vendors?
There you go. Yes. That's another one.
That is huge.
That's contributing to the indigenous economy, and you should do that. But don't complicate things if you can't afford things, or if you really have to go to work. Don't let them steal what's inside of you, inside that heart of yours, right? They never could steal that feeling from me. Even though they put me through poverty, they put me through a dysfunctional family. The colonial elites, the greedy white man, or the greedy landowners. There's a reason why we're poor, man. There's a reason why we live in poverty. It's not just because our parents are lazy. That's what they want you to know. That's what they want you to feel. Embarrassed and shamed of being that. But not on Indigenous Peoples Day. Not for me. I have a fire inside of me. And they didn't put it there. The universe put it there. The universe connected me. The universe gave me life. And the universe will give me all the answers I need.
So there it is, guys. What are you going to do on Indigenous Peoples Day? You already know what we're going to do. We're going to be performing. Zero's going to be active. Heron's going to be active. I'm going to be active. I hope you're going to be active. This Wednesday, we got DJ Warlock 1. Great interview. Exclusive beat session. Live on air. Can't wait for that.
It'll be dope.
Appreciate that order that came in for that t-shirt, guys. Again, we have some t-shirts available. We have calendars available, books. We have
Go to our website, check it out.
You know,
sign up, subscribe, because it's gonna get deep now. It's gonna get deep. I want to do interactive. Workshops.
This is quite possibly our last free, freestyle show.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some major players in the game, major guests. That being said, shout out Fernando. Thank you. He's it's the individual that did the research.
Shout
paper.
out Fernando.
He
right
just
on.
sent us an email. I will definitely follow up with you, brother.
Perfect. Thank you.
So this Wednesday, stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in. We're peaking right now. Again, what are you doing for Indigenous Peoples Day? That's specifically on October 11th, but you got Sunday, Saturday, and Friday. What are you going to do? Let us know. Leave a chat on the comment. Make sure you guys share this video, put that like, subscribe. Let your friends and family members know about this show. Really appreciate the support. Next week, we're going to not only interview DJ Warlock 1, but we're going to have that exclusive content and uploading it to our new Patreon page. So if you guys are down to support, go ahead and support our Patreon. We're launching it next week. Zero of El Vuh tapping out. This is Armando. Thank you again. Any last words, Zero?
Yes. So, as you can see, we're limited with this podcast. I feel like I want to go deeper into things, but I'll save my energy for Patreon. I'll save my energy for the interactive workshops that we'll be having at the Maninani Kali. And I really feel in my heart that I'm ready to contribute all of my experience, all of my truth to a beautiful community that we call LA natives or Indigenous people in general. There's a lot of very talented people. We have a lot of power. And then what I mean by power is not the power of a white man who sits in an office and writes down laws and signs a paper and makes you believe that that's truth. Our power comes in our community. Our power comes from our love for one another. On Indigenous Peoples Day, connect yourself. Ask the Creator, please connect me to whatever I need to do for the next 100 years, for the next 7 generations. Let me focus my power and will and pass that on to my children. That is what I'm going to be doing on Indigenous Peoples Day, is profoundly connecting to my Mother Earth, to myself, to my heartbeat, to my life. All I have is my life. Many, many profound artists said that. All I have is my life. And I'll be damned if someone tells me how to live it. I'm a wild native. We are all wild natives. They just made us believe, just because we live in a city, that we are not that anymore. But we are that. You'll see it in your children. You'll see their sovereignty. in their will to continue to be sovereign in a beautiful place that we call Mamatonansi. It's time, my brothers. We'll see you Wednesday. Tlasokamatli. Thank you, every single one of you 45 people that showed up today and listened. We're going to get deeper in Patreon. The workshops are coming. It's time. Ometeo.